702 West Carson Street in Bryan.
Here's Brad Beard of Intercon.
When we started Intercon in early 1991, we were well aware that we would be competing with some companies that use unscrupulous techniques to make a quick sale, such as bait and switch, or 40% off if you commit today, or misleading, incomplete quotes. Intercon's practice is to be completely honest and encourage prospective customers to talk to our former customers. We've encouraged customers to get multiple quotes. We are confident and proud of our value proposition for windows, glass, and solar screens. We never want anyone to rush into a decision they will regret in the future. Just remember, warranties are only as good as the people who provide them and are servicing the area when situations arise. This is our home and only marketplace, and we will protect our home turf. You've probably heard the saying, the buck stopped here, and that is with me, Brad Beard, president and co-owner of Intercon, LLC.
Whether you have new construction or an existing home, let the fine folks from Intercon help your home energy efficiency year-round. Call Brad Beard of Intercon today at 823-3639. That's 823-3639.
People join Walk MS to raise awareness and funds that change the world for everyone affected by multiple sclerosis. MS attacks the brain and spinal cord. It's the most common neurological disease leading to disability in young adults. Walk MS brings communities together, creating teams with friends, loved ones, and coworkers to rally around those we care about and end MS forever. Join us. Together we are stronger. Walk MS fundraising accelerates research breakthroughs and life-changing breakthroughs. It will take all of our passion, determination, and fundraising to end MS forever. Together, we can change the world for people with MS. Join us. Register today, start a team, and raise funds at walkms.org.
The strength of America, our values, our way of life hasn't just been won on the battlefield. It's won every day in our communities when we come together, extending hands of compassion, service, and hope to those who need it most. For over 100 years, the American Legion has been strengthening communities across our nation by providing life-saving help and support to our veterans and neighbors during times like we're facing today.
It's what the Legion's all about.
From blood drives to distributing food, from responding to emergencies and protecting the most vulnerable among us, our mission is making America's communities stronger.
We are one family, and therefore we care.
We are the American Legion, veterans strengthening America. To learn how you can help, visit legion.org.
Season's greetings and happy holidays from your only all-sports station. All-sports station. The Zone. KZNE College Station, Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on The Zone. 2 weekend shootings are under investigation by Bryan police. Someone was taken to the hospital last night before 7 from gunfire in the area of Highway 21 and 17th Street. The condition of that person and the circumstances have not been disclosed. The second shooting was Saturday around 4 a.m. in the parking lot of a shopping center off South Texas near North Avenue. BPD officers who responded to a weekend disturbance heard gunfire and found one person who was shot. The victim was taken to the hospital and was last listed in stable condition. Adults in Texas are required to report child abuse. At Scotty's House Child Advocacy Center, which serves the Brazos Valley, Director Carrie Baker says the holidays will mean more cases.
Unfortunately, child abuse is a crime of access. Perpetrators have to have access to children in order to abuse them, and what better time to do it than during the holidays.
The statewide hotline to report child abuse is 800-252-5400. College Station voters elected 3 new council members during last month's election. During his appearance on WTAW, Bob Yancey was asked what he looks at differently now that he's on council.
We're a city in transition. We're undergoing traffic pressures, property crime pressures, land use pressures, available land use. And so I look at everything, whether it's, traffic or land use completely differently now, and really try to dive in and get into the weeds and make the right decision for the most people.
Yancey says when citizens contact him with concerns, he does his best to forward it to the appropriate person within the city's network. Residents near Carter Lake on the east side of College Station should be aware of a road closure today and tomorrow. The city reports Bradley Road will be closed as crews install a sewer line. Detours will be in place and traffic on Rock Prairie Road will not be affected. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Grab your first cup of coffee weekday mornings with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor, right here on 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Plus, online at RadioAggieland.com. WC Tractor, your local award-winning Kubota in New Holland. Do you have questions? Look them up online at WCTractor.com. That's WCTractor.com. You can also call them at 1-888-8-TRACTOR. That's 1-888-8-TRACTOR. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor.
Hi, this is Jeff Vanderwood with VeraBank. VeraBank is continuing to grow in the Brazos Valley with a brand new full-service banking center on Highway 6 in front of Academy. We have a team of genuine bankers specializing in personal and business banking, wealth management, and investor real estate lending ready to serve you. VeraBank is here to help you succeed financially, and you can bank on it.
Visit VeraBank.com today. That's VERA Bank.com. VeraBank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. This Sports Minute is brought to you by Hoco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HocoSupply.com. It was an up-and-down weekend for Texas A&M hoops. The Aggie men put together a late rally, but couldn't get past Memphis this past Saturday, 83-79. Wade Taylor IV finished with 25 points on the night, 15 in the second half. Meanwhile, the women got back up on the winning track yesterday, besting SMU 57-49. And Maroon and White picked up the victory despite suiting up only 7 players, Coach Joni Taylor.
The good thing is when you only have 7, and then last week we only had 5, so everybody gets a ton of reps and is more efficient in what it is we're doing. I thought it was really good for Maya Petticore. She's been out. She's been hurt. She was behind, and so she was one of the healthy ones this past week. And so for her to take every rep multiple times showed up today for her. I think the adjustment is, we're not running the way we would like to run. It's hard to do that. Played a lot of zone.
Jada Malone scored 12 points, and 4 other Aggies finished with 10 points as the ladies snapped a 3-game losing skid. Some volleyball news over the weekend as Jamie Morrison was pegged Texas A&M's next head coach. Morrison comes to Aggieland with 23 years of coaching experience, including serving on a trio of Olympic medal-winning staffs. He takes over a squad that finished 13-16 this past year and missed the NCAAs for the 3rd year in a row. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hoco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
Looking for podcasts of TexAgs Radio, The Louie Bellina Show, or Chip Howard? Look inside the Pod Center at Zone1150.com. Don't miss a single rant, guest, or moment. You can download or subscribe to any and all of your favorite shows inside the Pod Center at Zone1150.com. There's also a special selection where you can find select interviews from David, Louie, and Chip. Look up Zone interviews inside the Pod Center at Zone1150.com. Download or subscribe, but don't miss out. Check out the Pod Center at Zone1150.com.
If I'm gonna do this, I'll need my news team at my side.
News team, assemble!
Howdy, Aggieland. Welcome to the SEC.
Our program will be built on 4 principles in which I talk about all the time: toughness, effort, discipline, and pride.
Dang it! I'm going to have to buy that boy cream cone.
Now I'm distracted on my point. What were we talking about?
It's bullcrap. All I care about is winning. Show me the dang baby.
You do it till they do it right, and then you do it till they can't do it wrong.
Go get him! Why are you dancing around? Eat him like he's a steak.
He fits what TexAgs Radio is about. He fits into what the listeners are going to want. He's a pro on every level.
It's Nuño and the crew on TexAgs Radio. Right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
Hand records on my demo. Did y'all boys not get the memo? I do not stay at the Intercontinental.
So I wanted it to be a glorious Monday morning. I wanted to have an OC in place, a couple new commits, either the transfer portal or high school side. I wanted A&M basketball to have a glorious weekend against Memphis on the road. So far, not doing so well. Welcome into TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Here in the Rollo Insurance Studio, it is the Go Hour presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. Olin Buchanan with us. OB, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, I guess.
Morning. It's got a little loud this morning.
The weather's kind of nasty.
Yep.
All the things you just talked about. My Cowboys went down in spectacular fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just
almost 2 weeks in a row of that.
Really, they didn't play well for 3 weeks because I think the Colts gave them a game in the fourth quarter, 3 weeks ago? So, yeah, they're not playing well at all. And they have the dumbest coach. I mean, I know this isn't where you want to go, but let me ask you this.
Sure.
If your opponent had one timeout and there's about 1:20 to go, and you're looking at a 3rd and 10,
yep,
and you got a 3-point lead, what are you doing?
So let me make sure I got this right. 3rd and 10 situation. Your opponent has the ball.
No, you have the ball.
You have the ball.
Your opponent has one timeout.
I run the ball.
I think everybody did, and you sure as heck don't throw the ball 40 yards downfield.
No, that's not a good play.
Now, I do think that was probably on Dak Prescott, but
you got to blame somebody.
No, you don't have to call the pass in the first place. And people say, well, that's on Kellen Moore. So, the reason they wear the headsets is to communicate. And if you're the head coach,
you got to say no.
You say, no, we're going to run it. Boom.
We saw that here last season a couple times.
Yeah, then you punt it, and you have that defense that's not playing well, but you got an opponent that only has a minute to go. And if you're going to throw, like I said, look for something a lot more higher percentage. Yeah. Anyway,
I just think
so. I got that off my chest.
Burn the timeout. Make them burn the timeout.
Yeah,
that's what.
Make them have to go however far. I know they only needed a field goal, but they completed a pass to like the 30-something in the middle of the field and took that timeout to set up the field goal. You
could have used that. Could have used it. Hey, I noticed that you were getting a little antsy with the World Cup happening. Weren't you a little worried? I forgot what you tweeted, but weren't you a little worried it was going to bleed into your Cowboys broadcast?
Yes, I was. My son actually wants to watch it, so it was on.
You pay any attention at all?
Well, I mean, I watched the penalty kicks.
Okay.
So I watched it, and I remember thinking, okay, this is done. As soon as the guy from France had one blocked, I was okay, this is done. Actually, I was just trying to be a wise guy. I figured you would see it. And I'd say, oh, yeah, because people were talking about, I saw these tweets and people talking about, oh, this is the greatest ever. I'm in tears and all this. And I thought, yeah, I'm in tears too because I was afraid that the NFL games won't start on time.
I think you being a sports person, even not a soccer person, you could recognize it was kind of an intense
absolutely
game. I mean, it was.
I was just trolling.
Yeah, but it was awesome theater. We were at a sports bar in Austin. Not a sports bar, but we went. My daughters had ODP this week on a soccer thing, and we were watching it, and it was just a cool atmosphere to be in. I was rooting for France, but props to Messi being the GOAT right now.
Everybody in my house, which was 2 besides me, was rooting for Argentina, and I was asking why, and I said, well,
Messi?
No, it was because it's a Latin country.
Yeah, I have a lot of my Latin friends are doing it. I was rooting for, there's more Real Madrid players on France. But let's get to some basketball talk. Man, I told you this before the show, and I didn't know how I wanted to talk about it during the air, but I think this is who A&M basketball is. They're a team that when they can impose their intensity and their will on you, they're going to win some games that sometimes you don't think they're going to win. But they just aren't. Look, they scored enough points to win. You score 79 points with a defensive-minded team, you should win. They just don't really have, I don't know, they've always struggled scoring in certain situations. It took Hugh last year to take them over the top. I think when they don't bring, the fact that they missed how many freaking free throws yesterday? Or
for free throws were not bad. They were actually very good
at
free throws.
Sorry,
layups.
Yeah.
I don't recall. I do know it was an alarming number. It was something like, and this probably isn't it. I'm just throwing something out there. But they were something like 8 of 27 on layups. I mean, layups. Just, and I'm not saying that's what it is, but it was an alarming number of missed layups.
2-foot putts, guys.
And here's the deal. And I don't mean to crack on any one guy. But for A&M to beat an opponent, especially on the road like Memphis, I'm not saying everybody has to play great, but your key players just can't be terrible. And the normally reliable Tyrese Radford, 1 of 13.
Yeah.
1 of 13.
And they had a chance.
Oh, they had the
lead.
They were down 13 early, They were at some point in the first half. They were down 13, and then they were down 12 early in the second half. And they came back with about 3.5 minutes to go and took the lead. And they held that lead for about 15 seconds. And the guy missed a shot, but Memphis was there to get the layup and put the rebound and put it back in. And then it became A&M turnovers, missed shots.
Yeah.
And then now you're down 6, and then you're trying to fight your way back in. And I think they got within 2.
First off, I'm a huge Boots Radford guy. I love the way he plays the game. That game is not indicative of what I think he is, right? He had a bad day at the office. I also don't know if I love him and as the go-to guy. He's got some go-to guy moments in him. But I like him there isn't a go-to guy on this team, right? That's
right.
Basically.
You find out, I think, with this team, probably you find out who's hot that day.
Yeah.
And it was Wade Taylor who was hot that day.
Yeah.
25 points.
Yep. And
but I say that he was 6 of 16 from the field.
But he hit his free throws, as did Kendrick Davis, who just ate them alive. He was too fast to cover. It just didn't work out.
Yeah.
He went to the rim, got fouled.
And, A&M on their losses now, they've given up 83 points or more in their losses. So it's pretty easy to circle and say, okay, well, here's the line.
Yep.
Keep your opponent under 80, and you got a pretty good shot, especially on the road.
So I'm trying to see how many threes that Memphis hit.
5.
5 of 14. I would have liked to have seen them shoot way more, but, they got to the line, and they didn't hit that many. I mean, other than Kendrick Davis, they hit 20 of 30, but Kendrick Davis was 14 of 16.
Most of those came in the first half, too.
Mm-hmm.
But in the second half, where A&M played really good, I thought, and good, intense basketball in the second half. But Memphis was just able to get inside and score.
So we got a couple of messages coming in on the YouTube chat. We've got one. Let's see if I can this is on the TexAgs chat. This is from Calvin. A&M's got to shoot better than 33%. Key players didn't step up. Too many missed layups and too many stolen passes on inbounds. They still had a chance with a minute to play on the road versus a good Memphis team. This is who A&M is. Yeah, they're going to be in games because of how hard that they play. Although that first half was that was not who I expected to see on the road. I expected to see a cleaner version of A&M on the first half, even though it's a tough place to play.
Yeah, but Buzz said in the post-game interview with John Thornton and Andrew Monaco that he told his team at halftime, you just weren't tough enough. You're going to have to be tougher.
And you never hear that about a Buzz Williams team, right?
Yeah,
very rarely.
So, but they came out and they responded to that. They just didn't shoot well enough. Didn't play well. They actually shot pretty well in the second. Didn't play good enough defense.
Yeah. Let's go around the room and say hello to the folks. By the way, if you want to be a part of the conversation, you can text us on the A&B text line 979-693-1150. A&B, a College Station branch of the Amarillo National Bank. Good Texas Banking. The website is ANB.com. You can also call us up on that hotline, 979-693-1150. We go behind the glass and beyond. Nick Savage. Good morning, sir.
Howdy, good morning, y'all.
I understand you were watching yourself some high school football this week.
I was. I was trying to soak in all, 12 state championship games starting Thursday through Saturday, and the Saturday games were the most fun, especially Duncanville and North Shore there at the end. Probably the best game, I think, out of the bunch. But, I caught the last little bit of the A&M basketball game, too, and, man, it's just they're right there. It's a little frustrating, but they're right there in these games, and you just hope they got 3 games, I guess, to figure it out before they get to SEC play, and hope they can do that.
Yeah, I think based on what they've done, but based on that loss to Memphis and who they've got coming up before they get into conference play, I'm no expert on it, on bracketology.
Yeah.
12-6 in the SEC, or you're not getting in.
I 100% agree with you. And if they're not winning some of these games, I don't know how they get to 12-6. Now, they do have an easier schedule to start. Get some momentum there. In fact, I'm going to pull it up so we can kind of talk about it real quick, because I think that is that's going to be the recipe to getting in to the NCAA tournament. So let's go through what they have in SEC play, because I think they're going to beat Wofford next week, and it's going to be all good, right? So they got upcoming is my thing.
They play Wofford tomorrow.
Wofford on Tuesday. They've got Northwestern State, Prairie View. Then they start SEC play. They're at Florida, LSU, Missouri, at South Carolina, and Florida.
Well, you're hoping that get off to a fast start, and
What do you think? 4-1, 3-2 is what at the worst they can go is 3-2 at that point. Because after that it's at Kentucky, at Auburn.
Yeah, I've learned not to take anything for granted with this team. I thought they were going to go beat Boise, and got blown out. And how many of those games are on the road? They haven't played well on the road, so. I'm going to hope for 5-0. I'm going to feel real good about 4-1. I'm going to be cautiously optimistic at 3-2, and I'm going to be on the ledge at 2-3.
What do we know about LSU this year? Do we know much?
No, I don't know much about them.
Yeah, LSU. So at Florida, LSU, Missouri, at South Carolina, Florida at home.
Florida beat somebody. Who'd they beat? That A&M, I think, might have also played. Might have been Boise.
It's not a kind schedule. Their last game of SEC play before hopefully an SEC tournament is against Alabama right here. So I mean and you know how good Alabama's playing. It's a tough stretch, and they put themselves in a very difficult position. But that all being said, we saw what they did last year. You can't compare years. You can't say, well, they did this last, but I'm just saying, with this team, they do get better.
Well, they've done it twice. That matters. Again, the COVID year. They didn't play the whole month of February, so just throw that out. But in Buzz's first and third years, started slow and finished strong, and maybe they're going to do that again.
Hopefully so. All right, guys, you know how to get in touch with the show, 979-693-1150. When we come back here on TexAgs Radio, we're going to get a little bit more into basketball, but I also want to talk about Haynes King going to Georgia Tech, maybe portal talk here, and there isn't really anything new to report on the offensive coordinator, but let's hope that it's getting closer and closer. Right now, we're talking Brazos Running Company, a specialty running store that has moved to Century Square. If you haven't been to Century Square, it's a great hangout area, great place to eat, dine, hang out, hotels, you name it. But Brazos Running Company, locally Aggie-owned and operated specialty running store with an outstanding selection of running gear and shoes. They've got the best brands out there: On, Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, you name it. They got it all out there. And if you're a runner, walker, interested in fitness, the right shoe makes all the difference in the world. At Brazos Running Company, they're passionate about running and finding the right shoe for you. So they got that new location with that same expert level of service that you've come accustomed to, and more space, more brands, you name it. Birkenstock, Viore. Everyone loves wearing Viore right now. Remember, Brazos Running Company for your holiday shopping. It is Brazos Running Company, now located in Century Square below the Star Cinema Grill.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry blank
Christmas.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Chip Howard Sports Talk.
Merry Christmas.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. Join the Brazos Valley Cowboy Church for a Christmas Eve candlelight service at 5 p.m. The Brazos Valley Food Bank announces a $100,000 matching gift challenge. Make your donation by December 31st at bvfb.org. NAMI Brazos Valley hosts weekly online support groups for those impacted by mental illness. Groups are confidential and led by trained facilitators. Visit namibv.org for more information. The Brazos Valley Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program seeks volunteers throughout the Brazos Valley to advocate for residents living in nursing homes and assisted living facilities. No prior experience is needed and free training is provided. Visit bvcog.org for more information. Get into the holiday spirit with Christmas 97.3 FM, playing your favorite holiday hits 24/7 through the entire holiday season. Christmas 97.3 FM. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
It's
These are 12 deals of Christmas going on right now at your local Big Deal store. Hi, Jenny here, and I've been busy picking out the very best deals for you this holiday season. Each day is a different offer, and we have limited quantities, so run to your computer or smartphone and grab it quick.
Today's big deal is 50% off gift certificates from Horseshoe Junction Family Fun Park. Today only at AggielandBigDeals.com.
Holiday sparkle starts at Montelongo's Fine Jewelry. The Montelongo's Fine Jewelry family has been helping people select the perfect gift for over 30 years, and they want to be your jeweler this holiday season. Let Montelongo's help you find a dazzling gift from their incredible selection that's in stock and ready to be wrapped. Decide joy. Decide to give. Decide Montelongo's. Bring home a little sparkle with a gift from Montelongo's Fine Jewelry that's sure to make your loved one's Christmas shine. Visit their showroom on University Drive, and Merry Christmas from the Montelongo family to yours.
All over town this Christmas, you'll hear that familiar sound of a bell ringing at participating stores. We call it the sound of hope. Hello, this is Captain Timothy Israel from the Salvation Army of Bryan College Station. When you give at a Red Kettle, you make a real impact on local families and individuals going through a tough time. Your donation now is critical to our mission of delivering help and hope to our community all year long. So when you hear the sound of hope, please give at a Red Kettle and help us love beyond hardship.
The College Football Playoff on ESPN Radio. The top-ranked undefeated defending national champion Georgia Bulldogs head to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl to face the 11-1 Ohio State Buckeyes.
Ohio State playing Georgia in Atlanta. You talk about energy in a building.
You can hear the college football semifinals and national championship game right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
It's getting better all the time. I used to get mad at my school.
It is TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is to go hour presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations OB. A couple text messages coming in for us, but first off, National Signing Day. Kind of a different vibe in many ways, right? Last year at this time, we're thinking it's possible they have the greatest signing class ever, but we weren't totally sure. And then we kind of saw it develop on National Signing Day. This year, I'm going to go ahead and say it's trending in a better direction than I thought it was going to be a few months back. I think Ruben Owens makes a huge difference. David Hicks obviously makes a huge difference. If they end up getting Jaden Platt, huge difference. But still not the vibe I wanted to feel this year.
Yeah, I was hoping that they would at least, be able to land a top 10 class, which Jimbo seems to always do. And I know that it wasn't going to be as big a class, so you weren't going to have the numbers. I'm just glad it looks like that they're going to keep the guys they currently have committed.
Yep.
It's starting to look like that. And then maybe you can add a couple of players that, again, I never count Jimbo out. I've learned not to do that. He seems to come up with a surprise on signing day, so maybe he'll be able to pull that off again. Yeah,
I expect – I do feel like there's one flip out there still. Maybe it's Tony Mitchell, maybe it's somebody else, but I feel like
that would be awesome.
That would be huge, right? And if they can get Tony Grimes too.
Yeah. Then all your concerns about the cornerback position would be alleviated greatly.
Yeah. Still need to sign some linebackers.
Yeah, and hopefully you're going to get some of those in the transfer portal. Maybe a couple more out of high school.
Maybe. Yeah. It is an interesting place because
I'm glad the Sanford kid looks like he's completely on board.
Yep. And I think Chase Basantis looks to be on board.
Apparently, what's the young man's name? Shanahan, TJ
Shanahan, yeah.
And maybe his brother's transferring here. Who knows?
Yeah.
His brother who plays at Texas Tech just announced he's going into the portal.
Yep. So there are some things that are out there. We'll see. We'll have Billy on during the 10 o'clock hour and pick his brain as much as we can. So we'll see what we can find out about that. Let's go to the News and Social Center with myself and read a couple of these text messages. Actually, I'll allow Nick to do it. Nick, let's try this 979 from Grayson and start from there, shall we?
Hey, give me 1 second. Here we go. I got it. Is this the exodus that we were worried about when excuse me, let me restart that. Is this the exodus that we were wearied about for the Aggie transfers.
He wrote it as wearied, and I think worried is maybe what he was trying to say. OB, it is more than I thought, but I haven't freaked out about it just because there hasn't been somebody of substance just yet. But it is it's an alarming number.
Yeah, it's a huge number, but I'm like you, with the exception of Denver Harris, who got in trouble, and Chris Marshall, who got in trouble.
PJ Williams,
who got in trouble.
Right.
Those guys. The transfer portal hasn't really hit them as hard in terms of guys that have been actually productive. Not saying that a guy like Smoke Bowie won't be productive.
Yeah,
and a good college football player. I'm just saying, you haven't seen it here yet. So, I still think that if you took their recruiting class from 2022 and subtracted the guys who are in the transfer portal, you still have, I don't know if you have the number one class. You certainly don't have the number one class of all time, but you still have what's probably a top 5 class and, something to feel really good about. So,
I wonder, and look, you have to go after talent. That's how you win, and top talent. But I wonder if there will be a reset, kind of like we saw in college basketball. Remember when everybody was starting to go to the NBA early, and it just happened for years, and that's not a recent development. But certain coaches, either like Cal, he kind of endorsed that. All right, we'll have these 1-year guys, right? And he won one championship?
One championship.
Okay. And then there's others, and I'll use Kelvin Sampson as an example. There's many others that, like, we're going to develop guys. We're going to get 4-year guys, but guys who are committed to this program, and we're going to win that way. And you can win both ways.
Well, I think you got to find a mix.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of folks that were frustrated with Kentucky up there.
Yeah.
Because they only won one championship, but every year they're in the mix. And that there's something to be said for that. Every year being a
I'd rather be in the mix
championship
than not in
contender.
the mix.
Yeah. But I think there's going to, you're going to have, you need to find the right balance. I don't know what that is yet. Is it like, hey, I want to bring in 20 high school guys, the most talented that I can find, and 5 transfer portal guys that can fill a need immediately?
Look, I'm just a talk show host here thinking out loud. If I were managing a college football team, I would do exactly what you initially said. I need a good balance. I am not going to rely on youth who's going to be great, because youth is going to be great. It's going to take some time. But I need youth that's going to be great on this team to actually be great, maybe even their first year. I need a mix. I need seniors that are here just to play at A&M. I need guys who have experience. I need a mix of guys at all levels, some that are 3-star, Anaya Smith style of guys that take their game to another level and they develop while they're here, and then some who come in here as a 5-star banger and they do what they need to do.
Yeah, I think, quite frankly, you can always say it this way. I think it's probably Nick Saban that does it best. He brings in highly recruited classes, and then he has cherry-picked for need in the transfer portal. It's not like he's gone all in the transfer portal like, Arkansas and Tennessee and some teams, TCU did. But I need a receiver. I'm going to get Jameson Williams.
Yep.
I need a running back. I'm going to get Jahmyr Gibbs. I need an offensive tackle. I'm going to go get Tyler Steen. Who wasn't great, but apparently better than whoever they had before.
Right.
So he's been active in the transfer portal, but he hasn't, he hasn't used the transfer portal to build his team.
One guy a year, basically?
No, he's had more than that. He needed a linebacker. Got Henry To'oTo'o.
Oh, you're talking about Saban, sorry.
Yeah, you mean Jimbo?
Yeah, Jimbo.
Yeah, they've gotten Max Johnson and Jahmyr Johnson.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Here's one from the Inconvenient Pothole. He says, Nuño, I'm not going to jump off a cliff about the mass exodus, but from 2018 to 2020, the talk was we need several recruiting classes to have enough depth to beat and compete with Bama.
Yeah, and that's true. But the fact of the matter is Bama's losing a lot of guys too. Now, are they losing as many as A&M? No. But, are they having more guys go to the NFL early than A&M?
Right.
Right. So yeah, you want to have depth, but the fact of the matter is, in today's college football, it's going to be harder to maintain that depth. It just is. It's going to be that way for everybody. I mean, Miles Slusser was at Georgia 2 years ago, and then he transferred to Arkansas, play there, and now he's transferring again.
Right.
So he probably would have started at Georgia, or might have started at Georgia this year had he stayed there. And now he's going to start probably somewhere else than Arkansas next year.
Yeah, and I don't think kids learn from other kids very much, right? You can give all these examples of guys that stayed in college for an extra year and guys who go to the league early or transfer before they probably should, and guys are going to do what they want to do.
Yes, they're going to listen to what they want to hear. And that's not just come from us. We had a Tara Laka on last week, and he essentially said the same thing.
Yeah.
The agent's going to tell you to go into the draft always, and they're going to tell you your status is probably better than it is, and but they care about your check more than they care about you.
Is there anybody outside of Antonio and Devon that, to me, are for sure going early? And even Devon, I'm not for sure he's going early because of the position he plays and the size, but he's absolutely a top 3-round pick talent-wise, probably a top 2-round pick talent-wise.
So the question is, anybody going in that shouldn't?
Yeah.
Well, who else is going in?
Jalen's one that I can see what he could go top 2 rounds. I could also see him dropping, right? And that's, I guess, the question.
Jalen. Yeah. Look, I'm no expert on it, right? No expert at all. But I would have thought Jalen Jones would have been better served coming back for a year. But that's my opinion. My opinion bears no weight in it. So that's an interesting graphic that we have up there.
Yep. Tumise, Chase, and by the way, we'll talk about Chase coming back because he looks like he's going to be teaming up with an old buddy of his. I see the work that they're doing on social media, so we'll talk about that here in just a bit. Right now, let's talk Heritage Films. Chance McClain's company talked to him the other day. He was doing a Heritage film on a colonel, and he said the colonel heard about it here on TexAgs, so I'm looking forward to chatting with him. He's going to link us up together. Chance McClain tells people stories. He makes documentary films about your family, about your mom, your dad, your uncle, your boss. He tells the stories that need to be held and preserved and passed down from generation to generation. No longer do you have to play the game of telephone, I should say, where you tell your kid, this is how it all went down, and then he tells his kid how it went down, and the stories change, right? Get the story, documentary form, to last generation after generation. The website is yourheritagefilm.com, yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341.
You never know who might stop by TexAgs Radio. Jimbo, Schloss, Buzz, Ross. It's TexAgs Radio, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 11 on The Zone.
Howdy, Ags. Grohalski Sausage in Bremen has been making their famous homemade Polish sausage using the original family recipe since 1952. Homemade smoked bacon, beef sticks, jerky, and summer sausage using authentic family recipes. Make Grohalski Sausage your #1 source for your next holiday party or tailgate. Grohalski Sausage offers custom deer processing with the same quality craftsmanship they started 3 generations ago. Aggie owned and operated, Grohalski Sausage is on Main Street in Bremen. Gig 'em.
Due to the Texas heat, humidity, not to mention the multiple hail and windstorms, most roofs don't last their full lifetime. But since 2006, AmeriStarRoofing.com has been helping Texans protect their homes from age and storm-related damages, and they have multiple adjusters on staff working directly with your insurance company to ensure that you get the coverage you need to make your home look new again. Call AmeriStar Roofing now to schedule your free roof inspection, 979-446-9874. AmeriStarRoofing.com.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language? In as little as 3 weeks, Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life, celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Holiday sparkle starts at Montelongo's Fine Jewelry. The Montelongo's Fine Jewelry family has been helping people select the perfect gift for over 30 years, and they want to be your jeweler this holiday season. Let Montelongo's help you find a dazzling gift from their incredible selection that's in stock and ready to be wrapped. Decide joy. Decide to give. Decide Montelongo's. Bring home a little sparkle with a gift from Montelongo's Fine Jewelry that's sure to make your loved one's Christmas shine. Visit their showroom on University Drive, and Merry Christmas from the Montelongo family to yours.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Micah Parsons, he openly questioned how much credit Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts deserves. The eyeball test to me with Jalen Hurts checks. Like, it looks good. Even if you think he's on a great team, and he is, how good is Hurts, Steve?
I'm going to push back on Michael Parsons when you start talking about the team and all this sort of thing. Because Peyton Manning had Marvin Harrison, Edgerrin James, Reggie Wayne, Dallas Clark, Mathis on the defense, Freeney on the defense, Tony Dungy on the sideline. I mean, that quarterback makes that personnel go. You cannot take away from the potential greatness that Jalen Hurts has just because he's surrounded around a great cast of characters. You can't look at it and say, well, Jalen Hurts isn't doing his job. It's everybody else.
It's Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor, here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
You know who's giving me some Bobby Taylor vibes?
Who's that?
Chase Lane. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse and CC Creations. This is this is a compliment, by the way. Chase is on Twitter. Chase Lane is on Twitter, and he's recruiting his guys. He's happy to get Haynes King with him at Georgia Tech.
Okay.
And he also tweeted out at Andre White saying, "Hey, they love you here." And I think he said the A-Town. Let me go to the tweet. But, yeah, so he's trying to get part of the band back together there at Georgia Tech.
Well,
good for him.
I would say that Georgia Tech is well on its way to upgrading its personnel.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I like Chase Lane a lot. I like Haynes King a lot. I like Andre White a lot.
I hope the two that are already at Georgia Tech and wherever Andre White goes, I hope they have success.
So this is what he says. This is 13 hours ago. Chase Lane. I don't even know if Andre has Twitter with a little smiley face. But Draco, which is I think what they call him, if you see this, I can confirm that Georgia Tech fans love Andre White. And then after that, he tweeted, "Got my QB, boom," when the news came out that Haynes King was going to Georgia Tech.
I like Chase. I liked him. I thought he made some really big catches for Texas A&M, and I appreciate that he was a really smart guy and did things, never caused any trouble, all those things.
Yep.
I would have to call BS on whether – I don't believe that Georgia Tech fans have any idea.
White?
No, I don't believe they have any idea who Andre White is.
Well, but still, it's good recruiting.
Yes.
It's very good recruiting, and good for him.
Yeah, again, I wish the best for all of them.
Yeah, I do too. And look, Haynes King, I think he does have something. We didn't see it here, and it wasn't going to happen here. I just hope he can get on the right path because I think he's just a good dude, and it just didn't work out here.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Let's go back to Nick Savage out there. Nick, I know you got a couple more text messages we did not get into.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Floyd texted in, even with the departures, A&M's class would be number one last year and one of the top 3 classes ever.
Yeah, so that's why
I like that thought.
That's why I'm not getting too worked up about it. But do you need to find depth? Absolutely.
Well, last year when they got that class, I'm sure you thought and I thought only a fraction of these guys are going to stick around because let's say you only get 5 3-stars or 3 3-stars or 2 3-stars. They don't always pan out. People leave. They don't have the right. So none of this is surprising. I think what it's just happening at the same time is the ouch part of it.
Yeah, but doesn't Alabama have 15 guys? I know I know A&M has, a lot more now, 22, 23, but it's going to happen everywhere. So I'm not going to get too worked up about it. What I see? I see a team that needs, some receiver help.
Yep.
I see a team that needs some offensive line help. And I see a team that needs some linebacker help, and I guess now corner. But I also see a team that's going to have Walter Nolan and McKinley Jackson and L.B. Overton and I guess Anthony Lucas as of now.
Yeah.
And I know I'm leaving guys. And Gabriel Brownlow Dindy, who haven't
even seen
played yet.
Yeah.
And I know Shamar Stewart, Shamar Turner. You know, I see Edrin Cooper's going to stay. You know, Jardine Gilbert, and Bryce Anderson, who I love.
I really feel that they need. It's so premature to look at this team and say they're a 9 or 10 win team or whatever, right? But they really need, at minimum, a 9-win season next year. I think 8, maybe 8's a minimum. I should say, you're, as Billy said on the Ask Lucci, you're back to where you've been for the most part, and you kind of feel like, all right, we can build from here. But I feel for momentum, for where you should be with Jimbo in year 6, you know, a 9-win season to me is where you need to be.
I'm
where I want you to at least be.
I'm still of the mind that you're at a point this late in a coach's tenure that you need to be expecting 10 wins. Anything less should be a disappointment. Now, after this year's debacle, you know, maybe that does change expectations, but I don't think it should. And now you got Connor Wigman at quarterback. Stewart's still around. You're finally letting Moose play. You're going to have to do something with your offensive line to get them to play better.
Yep.
But you have good guys. You got guys that everybody wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I'd love to have A-Chain back. Guy, of course I would. But, you know.
But you're not.
And you have Reuben Owens, a 5-star guy coming in with Le'Veon Moss and Mark Daniels, guys that when they played, you know, flashed pretty well. So everybody loses guys. And I will wait until all the transfer portal guys are in and out, and the signing class is in before I really start thinking about what the record should be. Yep. But I'll say even today, after a 5-7 season, that A&M win what will be its 6th season under Jimbo Fisher, and 1 year after that signing class, should be expected to win 10 games, or it'll be a disappointment.
As bad as they were this year, and they were bad.
They were bad.
Right? You could say they should have won at least 7 games. As bad, I might say 8. As bad as they were, and I'll go through it again. They should have beat App State. You could say they should have lost to Arkansas. Okay, fine, whatever. You should have beat. I don't know about Mississippi State. I think you should have beat Alabama. I do.
Well, you're
a play away,
and you know Alabama. Here's in my mind the difference. Alabama had some turnovers in those games, but none of them were gimmies.
We forced them, but they forced them.
But then Haynes, which Haynes was prone to do, made just a terrible mistake just at the end of the half and threw a pass that he shouldn't have thrown that was intercepted, and I believe it became a touchdown.
Yep.
Just before the half, right? Or was it a field goal? It led to an Alabama score just before the half where if you'll just fall down or throw the ball away, okay, so it was a field goal. What was the final score?
Exactly.
You know, if they have don't have that field goal, then maybe you're kicking a field goal instead of trying to score a touchdown at the end. So I still go back to this. 1 touchdown. Give me 1 more touchdown in every game. 1, and you're 10-2.
All right. 1 more touchdown in every game. So 1 more touchdown in App State, you win.
10-2.
Okay. 1 more touchdown in Mississippi State.
You still lose.
You still lose. 1 more touchdown against Alabama.
You win.
1 more touchdown against South Carolina.
You win.
1 more touchdown against Ole Miss.
You win.
Florida isn't.
You still lose.
You still lose, but I don't know if that many guys are out. I know they had the flu. It is okay. So you lose. Auburn, 1 more touchdown.
You win.
Okay. How many wins is that?
10.
Gosh, that feels so
1 more touchdown. So just breathe some life into what was one of the worst offenses we've ever seen here. And again, your coach is going to finally give up the play calling, so he doesn't have all of his laminated paper shuffling together while he's yelling at the referee and then trying to get the right personnel in. And maybe with somebody else coming in to call the plays and with a little more, adding some wrinkles, maybe they're going to get that touchdown. But they're going to have to do it without Devon Achane, and Achane was most of the offense.
So a couple of text messages are similar. I'm going to read these, and then you and I are going to respond to them. Sean Pierre on the YouTube page says, Nuño, you need 10 or more wins. 8 wins is calling for Jimbo to be fired. And that is followed up by Calvin says, Nuño, if this is an 8-4 team in year 6, proves that who we are, not why you fired Jimbo and paid top dollar for suppose of each coach. Averaging 8-4 over 6 years is not elite.
Yeah, you fired someone for that.
Yeah, but I also don't want to look at it is a results business. Please, I'm going to try to get these thoughts out and see if it makes sense. Results-driven business, no doubt. How you got to 8-4 next year, to me, tells me more than 8-4 next year. And maybe not for everybody else because we've been waiting and waiting and waiting. But a team that was 5-7 that just lost 25 guys that transferred out, if they are 8-4 because the offense is the issue again and yada, yada, I think there's a lot. I don't just look at the record and tell you, yes, that's fireable. I don't know. I got to see how the season plays out.
Well, I don't know if it's fireable because, again, the contract. That said, I said this when Sumlin was the coach. I'm going to say it forever. A&M has too many damn advantages to settle for 8-4 every year. At A&M, you have the geographical advantages. You got the resources. You got the facilities. You got the fans. There is nothing that a coach needs to be highly successful that Texas A&M does not provide.
Yep.
Everything's there. So if you can't go out, and I get it. Some years you have bizarre things happen. And it happens to everybody. Now, maybe they don't go 5-7, but you don't have the kind of season that you were anticipating, and that happens everywhere. But I, for one, I'm with the texter, and I would hope that all Aggies feel this way. I, for one, never, ever think that 8-4 should be acceptable. You're at a point now with a coach, they'll pay. They'll pay your coaches. They'll pay their assistants. They'll do whatever it takes to accept 8-4. This is a program that should always expect 10-2 or better. You want to play for championships. I keep saying win. They have their Hall of Champions. For who? When is it going to be not next year?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you might say, well, how does 8-4 look? You know what? It looks like a disappointment to me. It means that you lost a third of your games. It's, again, there was a lot of issues this year. And you can give them a pass for this year because how many incredible amount of injuries. But you also stuck with your quarterback who wasn't effective way too long.
Yep.
You also wouldn't give up the play calling duties, and everyone could tell that your offense wasn't working but your head coach. So it's time to stop saying, okay, we're going to be good with 8-4 as long as it looks a certain way. Hell no. It's time for A&M to start winning at a level that their program should because of what it provides.
By the way, I am not saying 8-4 is acceptable.
You're not saying that.
I'm not saying 8-4 is acceptable. I'm just saying from where you are right now, I don't know what to expect next year. And I think 9-3 is the bare minimum, but I got to see how it plays out.
Did you think the firing of Kevin Sumlin was justified?
Yeah, I did.
Why?
I was embarrassed too many times. And the UCLA game was probably the last straw for me.
But they went 7-5 that year.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So they averaged 8 wins a year.
But you know what? And I liked Kevin. I know not everybody did. I liked Kevin.
I didn't, but go on.
But Jimbo was there for the taking. So to me, it's kind of like, who's there?
Oh, I think that the firing of Kevin Sumlin was absolutely justified. Not only were they a mediocre program, but how could you like the direction of where the program was going?
Yep.
And he said when he left, I left the program in a better position. No, you didn't. You inherited a heck of a roster, but you didn't leave a heck of a roster. You left it as okay.
Right.
Jimbo came in and did a great job, but he's got to continue to do a good job.
He does.
and it hadn't been good, great for a couple of years.
One more segment here in the Go Hour. Maroon never looks so good with Maroon You. It is presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. We'll get to more of your messages next on TexAgs Radio.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
From the Louis Bellina Show.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. Mosaic Church in College Station invites you to their Christmas Eve service at 5 p.m. All are welcome to the candlelight service with a children's nativity and Christmas carols. Help the Brazos Valley Food Bank bring hope to the table. Go online to bvfb.org. Blood centers throughout the country have experienced a significant drop in donations, which is affecting the nation's blood supply. Visit giveblood.org to schedule your blood donation today. Pride Community Center offers 2 support groups to bring individuals together to address societal pressure, discrimination, and stigma regarding LGBTQ+ identity. For more information on these programs, visit pridecc.org. Listen to your favorite holiday hits on our sister station, Christmas 97.3 FM. Guaranteed to get you humming along. Your favorite holiday hits 24/7 on Christmas 97.3 FM. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Hey, we're here with Jason Rollo. What makes Rollo Insurance so unique?
Well, we're a business ourselves, and we grew from a notepad. And when you come from the perspective of doing it yourself, I think you understand what business owners face, because we face the same things. Technology needs, dealing with those who are clients, as well as dealing with employees, agents. We understand because we're in the same boat, and that gives us a unique perspective in dealing with people and trying to help them.
Visit them at their headquarters in College Station or online at rolloinsurance.com.
WPI needs a service technician to diagnose and repair heavy equipment for their Bryan location. This full-time position comes with a company vehicle, insurance, 401k, paid holidays, paid vacation, and competitive pay if you or someone you know is hardworking, dependable, and looking for full-time employment in the construction equipment repair industry. Apply in person with Jesse James at WPI in Bryan, Highway 21 East at Marino Road. WPI, an equal opportunity employer.
This is Dale from Columbus, previously from the Paul Feinbaum Show.
I'm really looking forward to chatting again with Joe Anderson.
I'm having a great time. I'm excited about TCU, making it to the semifinal. Nobody thought this was going to happen. I would be hard-pressed to even believe that Sonny Dykes would have believed it. Yeah, it's a good time. Good time to be a TCU alum, for sure.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, powered by Polaris Fun Center, 2 to 4 weekdays on the Zone.
And we're back, and we are TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. OB with us for one more segment here on the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. So your little, not monologue, but your rant?
Rant.
Your rant.
It was a rant, I'm sorry.
It accepted well on the socials. People are happy with it, and everybody agreeing with you, basically, that here's Chase in Houston. A&M is at the point where 9 wins, and that's the only when a catastrophe happens with injuries or suspensions. So the bar is 9 wins, excuse me, as I should say it. I would have said yes a year ago, but that's not where we are right now. So I don't even know where you go from 5 and 7. I don't know. I want 9 wins. I need to see what happens with this roster. I need to see. Look, do I think Connor Wegman for a full season with Evan Stewart makes a huge difference? Absolutely. If Anaya Smith comes back, which I know we're kind of doubtful on that, but we don't know.
We don't know.
Yes. And
Anaya should come back, by the way. He's got to do what he thinks is best, but coming off an injury, maybe that's why he wants to go. But I think he'd be better served to come back and boost his draft stock.
Yep.
I think he could really. And plus, I'm sure he'd get a great NIL deal.
He would. He would. So, yeah, look, I if they won 9 games next season, would I be ecstatic? Probably.
Okay.
Again, I don't think that's acceptable, but I need to see where they go from 5 and 7.
You know, when Jimbo was first hired, the thinking was, all right, at least you take it in steps. In the first step, beat the Mississippi schools every year.
Yep.
Well, that hadn't been happening now. When was the last time they swept the Mississippi schools?
I don't even know.
2020?
Yeah.
Well, no.
They didn't play
They
Ole
didn't
Miss.
play Ole Miss.
Yeah.
So, sweep the Mississippi schools and, then, but 6 years in, that step should have already been taken. Is it really that? Look, I know it's the SEC. It's going to be difficult, but is it really that much of a demand to say Texas A&M, an hour from Houston, all the football players there, let's be better consistently than Ole Miss and Mississippi State?
Yep. By the way, this week, a little different week. I'm going to be off on Thursday, Friday. I believe we have a best of on Friday. Dalton going to be hosting on Thursday. But on Wednesday, we have our 4-hour signing day show. 3 of those hours on the Zone. But the 4 hours on TexAgs.com will start at 7 a.m. that morning. We'll have Bronny. We'll have Luch. I'm sure we'll have Jason Howell. We will have many of our friends. Jamie McCoy is going to be stopping by. We're going to have Chris Taylor stopping by. Brandon Leone stopping by. Steve McKinney stopping by. So it is what it is. Nuño, you don't go down in expectations just because you're underachieving. The expectations should be championship every year. Yeah, those are the expectations. I just don't know if you blow it up if you don't. That's what I'm saying.
Well, you don't blow it up because the money it would cost you to blow it up.
Right. And again, that is part of the conversation.
But I would say if it was not for the contract, Jimbo would be and should be coaching for his job in 2023.
Yeah. By the way, expectations and what I think reality are 2 different things for next year.
Well, I don't say necessarily even championships. I say be legitimate contenders.
Legitimate contenders. There you go. Thank you very much, OB. Appreciate you. When we come back, an open segment, you guys can call in. You guys are passionate about it. We'll have an open segment to start it off. Tom Hart at 9:20, Buzz Williams at 9:45, and Billy throughout the 10 o'clock hours. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Gotta be connected with The Zone. Follow us on Twitter or Instagram at The Zone 1150. Like us on Facebook at The Zone 1150. Programming alerts, prize updates, scores from games all across Brian Broadcasting, contest news, and more. Connect with us and always be in the know. Can't remember what team is playing on what station? When are they giving away what? And when is the coach on the show? Follow us on Twitter or Instagram at Zone 1150. And be sure to like us on Facebook at Zone 1150. And always be in the know.
Remember the last time your family visited the forest? It's a place of wonder and imagination for the whole family, where stories come to life. And it's closer than you think. Ready to plan your next visit? Make the forest part of your story today at a local park near you, or find one at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Download podcast of your favorite shows, Louie, Chip, or TexAgs in the Pod Center at zone1150.com. Subscribe and have them downloaded daily for you in the Pod Center at zone1150.com. This is KZNE College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. 2 weekend shootings are under investigation by Bryan police. Someone was taken to the hospital last night before 7 from gunfire in the area of Highway 21 and 17th Street. The condition of that person and the circumstances have not been disclosed. The second shooting was Saturday around 4 a.m. in the parking lot of a shopping center off South Texas near North Avenue. BPD officers who responded to a weekend disturbance heard gunfire and found one person who was shot. The victim was taken to the hospital and was last listed in stable condition. Adults in Texas are required to report child abuse. At Scotty's House Child Advocacy Center, which serves the Brazos Valley, Director Carrie Baker says the holidays will mean more cases.
Unfortunately, child abuse is a crime of access. Perpetrators have to have access to children in order to abuse them, and what better time to do it than during the holidays.
The statewide hotline to report child abuse is 800-252-5400. College Station voters elected 3 new council members during last month's election. During his appearance on WTAW, Bob Yancey was asked what he looks at differently now that he's on council.
We're a city in transition. We're undergoing traffic pressures, property crime pressures, land use pressures, available land use. And so I look at everything, whether it's, traffic or land use completely differently now, and really try to dive in and get into the weeds and make the right decision for the most people.
Yancey says when citizens contact him with concerns, he does his best to forward it to the appropriate person within the city's network. Residents near Carter Lake on the east side of College Station should be aware of a road closure today and tomorrow. The city reports Bradley Road will be closed as crews install a sewer line. Detours will be in place and traffic on Rock Prairie Road will not be affected. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Due to the Texas heat, humidity, not to mention the multiple hail and windstorms, most roofs don't last their full lifetime. But since 2006, AmeriStarRoofing.com has been helping Texans protect their homes from age and storm-related damages, and they have multiple adjusters on staff working directly with your insurance company to ensure that you get the coverage you need to make your home look new again. Call AmeriStar Roofing now to schedule your free roof inspection, 979-446-9874. AmeriStarRoofing.com.
Are you active duty military, a teacher, or first responder in the Brazos Valley? Listen close. Local wedding professionals are teaming up to share their love and appreciation for you through the 5th annual American Heroes Dream Wedding Giveaway. How? An all-inclusive wedding, from invitations to the honeymoon and everything in between. Registration opens January 1st, 2023 at AmericanHeroesWedding.com. For more info and list of vendors, visit AmericanHeroesWedding.com or call 979-574-3999.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. This Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. It was an up-and-down weekend for Texas A&M hoops. The Aggie men put together a late rally but couldn't get past Memphis this past Saturday, 83-79. Wade Taylor IV finished with 25 points on the night, 15 in the second half. Meanwhile, the women got back up on the winning track yesterday, besting SMU 57-49. And Maroon and White picked up the victory despite suiting up only 7 players, Coach Joni Taylor.
The good thing is when you only have 7, and then last week we only had 5, so everybody gets a ton of reps and is more efficient in what it is we're doing. I thought it was really good for Maya Petticore. She's been out. She's been hurt. She was behind, and so she was one of the healthy ones this past week. And so for her to take every rep multiple times showed up today for her. I think the adjustment is, we're not running the way we would like to run. It's hard to do that. Played a lot of zone.
Jada Malone scored 12 points, and 4 other Aggies finished with 10 points as the ladies snapped a 3-game losing skid. Some volleyball news over the weekend as Jamie Morrison was pegged Texas A&M's next head coach. Morrison comes to Aggie land with 23 years of coaching experience, including serving on a trio of Olympic medal-winning staffs. He takes over a squad that finished 13-16 this past year and missed the NCAAs for the 3rd year in a row. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
You can listen to Aggie football, basketball, and baseball on your Amazon Dot or Echo. Step 1, say, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill. Step 2, anytime you want to hear fighting Texas Aggie football, Texas A&M women's basketball, or Aggie baseball, all you have to do is say, Alexa, play Zone 1150. It's that simple to listen to your favorite A&M teams that play on the Zone with your Amazon Dot or Echo. Make sure to say one time, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill. Then say, Alexa, play Zone 1150.
It is TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate everybody listening. So this week of programming I mentioned to you, we'll be here live today, live tomorrow. Wednesday, we'll be live for an extra hour starting at 7 a.m. for National Signing Day. You will not want to miss that. Dalton has got you on Thursday. We'll have a recorded show on Friday and on Monday. And then I'll be back with you next week at some point. I think I'm back Wednesday, Thursday of next week. I have to double check that. But regardless, we're going to bring you, and if things break, as things transpire, we'll update our programming schedule and bring you the very latest and best. It is now time for Around Aggieland. That is presented by Normandy State Bank. Normandy State Bank, rock solid banking. The website is NormandyStateBank.com. We go behind the glass. Nick Savage handling the duties of Around Aggieland.
All right, well, let's go ahead and dive into men's basketball first. As we all know, they fell to Memphis on Saturday, 83-79. That was in Memphis at the FedEx Forum. They resume action. Buzz Williams and the gang, they'll be back at Reed on Tuesday at 1 to take on Wolford. And ladies pulled out a win yesterday against SMU. I believe that was at Reed Arena. Yeah, it was at Reed Arena. They won 57-49. They'll be back in action on Wednesday at Reed against Purdue. I believe that was going to be a makeup game. They were supposed to be in Las Vegas. That tournament got canceled, I believe, so they'll be taking on Purdue here in College Station. And then to the volleyball side of things, head coach Jamie Morrison was announced this past Friday to take over for Bird Coon, and he brings in 23 years of coaching experience, and I believe Cade told me he was the last coach for the Dutch national team. So he's been all over the place, collegiate level, national level, and international level. So it'll be exciting to see what he can do on the volleyball side of things, and that's about it for Around Aggieland, David.
Yeah, I know he's got some national experience, and I don't know much about the guy other than the press release, and I'm excited that there's a new one here. I liked Bird a lot, and I wish Bird nothing but success, and I hope we can keep in touch with her, especially our random Guardians of the Galaxy and Top Gun talk. But I'm looking forward to seeing a new direction and see where this volleyball team goes. I know he's got a lot of experience, and people on social were certainly excited about that. It's weird, man, because it's that time of year that either you should be getting excited about National Signing Day, your basketball team hopefully doing well, your football team getting ready for a bowl game, yada, 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 right? And right now, no bowl game, a lot of transfers out, nothing really in just yet. National Signing Day could be nice. We're hoping it's going to be nice. It's just a weird time. And, the basketball team, to me, so I was at dinner on, that's the beauty of technology today. You can actually multitask, and it's not a good thing to multitask. I don't think you absorb your environment, right? I'm at dinner with a bunch of different families with this soccer event that we were at, and I'm watching the game on my phone, which is great, right? I can go to my kids' practice, watch the Aggies play. I can go to dinner, and I'm that guy who's got like one AirPod on, listening to the game, watching the game, trying to have a discussion with people, and it is what it is. But so they fall behind significantly at the half, and I'm like, what is wrong with this team? Then they come all the way back, and then they take the lead. And it's like you think to yourself, all right, they figure it out. That game was needed. They needed that game. They didn't get that game. And now they're in a situation to where what's going to happen, right? Like you have to win 12 games probably and have some good wins in that to have a chance for the tournament. They are just a gutsy team that has definitely improved their talent the last couple of years, but they got to start getting these wins. And your non-conference, it's not going to happen there. So who are you going to beat in conference? On the road, I do have faith that Buzz will figure it out because he is a master at getting the most out of his team. A little disappointed the way that game started in Memphis. The physicality, the execution, it just did not work. If you want to be a part of the discussion, you can do it multiple ways. You can text us on the A&B text line, 979-693-1150. That is the hotline or the text line, A&B text line. Let's go right into the hotline right now. Randy wants to talk a little Aggie football. Randy, welcome to TexAgs Radio.
What's up, Dave?
Hey, man.
Morning.
Oh, Randy. What up, Randy? That Randy.
What's that? That Randy, yeah. Hey, as far as the football program and the expectations go, I think you got to have expectations. If you don't, then why why be in the position or put all the resources into it if you don't have expectations? At this point, we should expect to be the best. Like I always say, we are the Aggies. Aggies are we. That's where you got to think in all sports. You know what I mean? Just quit settling and just try to be the best no matter what.
All right, Randy, talk with me about this for a minute because I agree with you. The expectation should be double-digit wins. I just don't know how realistic that is next year because I don't know this roster yet, right? So we should demand that kind of excellence. You are 1,000% correct. A program like Texas A&M should be getting 10 wins a season, because of the resources and the financial commitment and all the backing that they have here. That is what we should expect. Should we expect it next year after this year? That's a different conversation, I think.
Well, yes, that's true, but you always got to play with what you got, and we still have plenty of good players. You might not be able to rotate as many, but hey, sometimes the best players play the whole game anyway. You know what I mean? So I still say we have a pretty good offense coming back. Show up a little defense with the linebackers and a little depth at the cornerback. But I still say we have enough players to have 10 wins. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Look, I hope, right? I don't know who the offensive coordinator is yet. I don't know what transfers are coming in. All that is great in theory. I want to see what pieces are left when the dust settles. And yes, that's what I want. I wanted it this year.
Yeah.
I have been burned by having expectations and desires, and the results aren't there. And I'm sorry, I am not here on December the 19th to be speculating about coaches, that are fireable or not. It's just not where we are right now because this is who A&M is right now, trying to get a solid recruiting class to commit on Wednesday and get some transfers over. And then after that settles and the OCs, then I can start reevaluating. But it's a long way from 5 to 7 to 10 wins.
Yes, sir. But thanks for everything, David, for the year, and have a happy holidays, you and your family.
You too, brother. Thank you, Randy. Always appreciate your calls.
All right, thanks. All right. Bye.
Randy, always bringing it here. 979-693-1150. 979-693-1150. I want to make sure that I'm clear on this. What I want and what A&M should command and expect is exactly what Randy said. I'm just saying I don't know how realistic that is next year because I don't know this team. And you don't either. Now, we can do the same exercise we did with Olin earlier, and we could be like, they could have won this game, they could have won that game, they should have won one more field goal. They win a bunch of those games, right? But each season has its own narrative, and I don't know, who would have expected this? Back in May, right? Back in June, after all the stuff that happened with Jimbo and Nick and the recruiting class. Nobody. But there were some that said, man, A&M's too young. Let's see how they are next year, right? Well, next year's now coming for us already. It's already next year this is the A&M team. And the results, we're so far away from knowing what kind of results to expect from this team, but we can hope that they get the offense taken care of. I don't know who the OC is. You don't either. But if they get that taken care of, I'm going to feel much better. I'm going to feel that much better. So let's do this. Let's hit a break here. When we come back on TexAgs Radio, Tom Hart will be there. We'll chat with Tom for a few minutes about, he was all over the place with bowl games, college basketball, get his thoughts on the situation here at A&M, that and more. But right now we're talking about Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell and online at CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. Drove by it yesterday on my way back from Round Rock. We had a soccer thing. We drive by, and I'm like, I bet you Zach Hester's in there working hard. That's what he does. He works hard, so does his entire crew. Obviously, they were closed. It was late when we came back. But that's what I expect from Caldwell Country. They're working on great deals for you and, of course, giving you the best customer service out there. When we were looking for a new vehicle, we took forever. We took like 9 months to figure it out, and Zach was cool during it. The whole thing, Zach was like, I get it. Get what you want. Timing's all on you. And we told him what we wanted, what kind of car, what kind of price, yada, yada, yada. And he got back to us on a couple of occasions, and boom, there it was. The Tahoe that we wanted at the price point we wanted with the low mileage that we wanted. It was perfect. And then I was like, I don't know, man. I got to figure out the trade-in. And he was patient, and he took care of us, and he'll take care of you. Great customer service, great people, just people that you know that want to give back to this community, love Aggie athletics and everything that they're about. It's about a 15-minute drive. Brian at Caldwell did it yesterday, timed it. I wanted to make sure that I've been saying it right. And yes, you can get to the edge of Brian in 15 minutes. Short conversation where you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with Zach and the fellas there at Caldwell Country. Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, and online at CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Season's greetings to you and your family from all of us here at The Zone. The Zone.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. Join the Brazos Valley Cowboy Church for a Christmas Eve candlelight service at 5 p.m. The Brazos Valley Food Bank announces a $100,000 matching gift challenge. Make your donation by December 31st at bvfb.org. NAMI Brazos Valley hosts weekly online support groups for those impacted by mental illness. Groups are confidential and led by trained facilitators. Visit namibv.org for more information. The Brazos Valley Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program seeks volunteers throughout the Brazos Valley to advocate for residents living in nursing homes and assisted living facilities. No prior experience is needed and free training is provided. Visit bvcog.org for more information. Get into the holiday spirit with Christmas 97.3 FM, playing your favorite holiday hits 24/7 through the entire holiday season. Christmas 97.3 FM. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Does your bank know your first name? At Normandy State Bank, they do. Normandy State Bank is locally owned, controlled, and operated. This local personal touch means banking decisions are made on site the same day you request it. Normandy State makes banking easy. They're open Saturdays, offer state-of-the-art online banking, bill paying, fund transfers, check and statement images. Normandy State, where customer service is their priority. Normandy State Bank, rock solid. Member FDIC.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Brazos Running Company has moved to Century Square. Same passion for running and fitness and for finding the right shoe that fits your stride and style. Now with so much more. In addition to the sought-after running shoe brands like On and Hoka, Brazos Running Company now carries Birkenstock shoes, and they are the only place in town to carry Viore clothing, one of the hottest athletic wear brands in the country. Both make great gifts. So come shop Aggie-owned and operated Brazos Running Company, now located in Century Square below Star Cinema Grill in College Station.
Everything in life has rules, and The Zone has prize rules for all contesting. You can check them out at zone1150.com. You may know you can win once every 30 days. There can only be one winner per household per month. You have 30 days to pick up your prizes. You have to be 18 or older to win. You have to present a legal ID to claim your prize. All prizes are non-transferable and not for resale. To make sure you do know all the rules, or if you have any questions about the prize rules, make sure to visit zone1150.com. Zone1150.com.
Expectations versus reality, part of the conversation we're having this morning. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's go straight to the hotline. Tom Hart with us. What's up, man? Good morning.
I expect all my flights to be on time and my luggage to arrive. Reality, that doesn't always work that way. There's a reminder for everybody traveling over this holiday season. Good morning.
Good morning, man. So let's talk about that, because this happened to me a few times. Have you changed the way you travel because of the unknowns? Or like, you know what? Because I assume you travel with a suit, so you either need a huge suitcase that you can hang it in nicely, or you got to take it inside, have the flight team hang it for you somewhere. How do you travel so you can kind of ensure that you have all your stuff?
I am carry-on 99.9% of the time, and if that means my suit is wrinkled up into a tiny ball and I have to find time to steam it out or iron it when I arrive to my destination, that's fine. Because if you have all your luggage in your hands, and then you can change planes, you can grab a car, you can bail on the last second, and you can make adjustments, as opposed to, oh, sir, we checked your bag, we can't put you on that flight, or it's already at the gate. No, I will wear the same article of clothing 3 days in a row if that means that I can avoid checking a bag, because the flexibility is the most important thing.
Yeah, you're right. And sometimes I'm such a I better rephrase
Diva?
that. Yeah, because I don't know what I don't know what I'm going to want to wear that day, right? Like, I don't know, maybe I want to wear a certain suit. Like, I don't know. So I bring multiple stuff. Sometimes it's just, I don't know. I'm just a dork.
No, I'm with you. Yeah, you want options. You don't know. You're coming to SEC Media Days, like, come on, man, that's a long week. You can't jam it all in one bag. That's fine. But that has to be the exception, not the rule. The exception is, okay, this trip, I'm going to check a bag, and I'm going to be married to my itinerary, and I know that it's inflexible and not going to change. Perfectly fine. Now, if you're traveling for the holidays, you might have gifts in that suitcase, right? I just ship it. If you could, it's probably too late now, but if you can, ship it. Keep everything in one hand, do laundry at your parents' house, do laundry, at the in-laws, whatever you're doing, but avoid checking a bag at all costs.
Yeah, and they charge you and all that for the most part. All right.
That's right.
Let's talk some football. So Olin, earlier in the show, OB in the Go Hour, said that, we should expect 10 wins every year. That should be the expectation with all the resources at Texas A&M. While I agree that should be the expectations, the reality of it is, after you go 5-7 and so many question marks out there for next year, I am not ready to say I expect that next year. That should be what we expect and demand. But from 5-7 to 10 wins, it may not look like that much, a couple points a game, but it's a long jump, and I kind of have to wait to see the dust settle. How do you see expectation versus reality?
You both can be right in this conversation. The expectation at Texas A&M, given the budget, given the recruiting pool, given the salary for the coaching staff as a whole, and the overall support for the program, all of that is the foundation that then leads to the opportunities. So yes, I think it's fair to expect 10 wins a season. Now, there should be an understanding at times of the things that keep you from reaching those goals. And then the question becomes, all right, why did X happen that kept us from reaching our goal of the standard being 10 wins? And it could be injuries. It could be any number of things, right? The problem is in the SEC, which, by the way, is getting ready to add 2 other major programs a year earlier than contractually agreed upon, most likely, with Texas and Oklahoma coming in 2 seasons. 10 wins is harder than it's ever been before. And my expectation is that the joining of Texas and Oklahoma will also come hand in hand with a jump to 9 conference games, right? So you take the cream puffs out of it. The cream puff situation is going by the wayside. Apologies to Nichols and Sam Houston and whoever else. Like those games are gone going forward. So all of that being said, I think it's fair for the expectations to be 10 wins. I think the reality is you have to be understanding of circumstances that keep a program like Texas A&M from reaching 10 every single season. Maybe the way to phrase it, David, is that the average should be 10. You might have a down year, and then you have a better year, and then as everything goes in cycles. You can have peaks and valleys as long as your valleys are like the 7-win variety. And I think that's a fair way to look at it.
Tom, how critical of a time is it for Jimbo these next 7 to 10 days, signing day coming up, finding the right OC, keeping some of the guys that you have, getting a few transfers to that expectation of next year?
Well, yeah, that's the biggest X factor for any program is signing day. Now that importance has been lessened a little bit in recent years because of the portal. What is the total number, by the way? How many guys have entered the portal now from A&M?
I've seen so many different numbers out there. Was it 25 or so? Is that right?
Yeah. So and you got to be realistic too. Of those 25, how many did they want to stay? How many are they really going to miss? How many are impact players? There's some real impact dudes among those 25. The comp is to when Josh Heupel took over Tennessee a couple of years ago, they had 35 guys leave. And they had some key players leave. They had a guy starting on O-line at Oklahoma. They had running back starting at Oklahoma and North Carolina. They lost their starting linebacker, Henry To'o to Alabama. Those were key guys they missed, but the bulk of the 35 that left weren't impact players. So you really need to minimize the damage in that regard. The timeline and the sense of urgency has to be very real, I think, for that coaching staff and administration as a whole to get it right now. If you don't hit the ball out of the park on signing day, if you don't get the right OC, then you're in scramble mode to kind of fill in the back door from a portal standpoint. And my guess is that there are some names in the portal that are headed to College Station that the coaching staff knows about and the players know about already. And for whatever reason, it just hasn't been, made public. There's that program as a whole is too appealing, especially to kids in the portal, to not grab elite players. And as we've seen in college football, and I think we saw it at A&M last year, as good as the recruiting classes had been the last 2 years, and especially last year, portal players are more impactful. They're older, they're experienced, they've been through the wars, they know what to expect. They've been humbled a little bit in a lot of ways for a variety of reasons, and they show up, generally speaking, the elite ones, ready to go, plug and play. And freshmen are a totally different story.
Talking to Tom Hart here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. All right, so let's flip to Aggie basketball, or just college basketball in general. That Memphis team, man, great environment there. FedEx Forum. A&M is a team that I feel like they can be really good. They just haven't shown it, especially on the road yet.
It's a tough environment. That's a really tough team. That is an old team that Penny's got. Now, there's a lot of old teams in college basketball, a lot of 23, 24-year-olds. I saw a Notre Dame team in person yesterday that would have been, middle of the pack in terms of age for NBA starting five. I mean, they had one freshman in there, but otherwise everybody was 23 and 24. The Kendrick Davis kid for Memphis is really, really good. And if you're not rooting against him, he is as fun to watch in college basketball. I had them their previous game against Alabama. Wade Taylor had a great game at 25, shot the ball really well. Boots didn't shoot the ball well, but that dude still works, man. He works on the boards. For a guy his size to be such a great rebounder is a testament to his motor, I think, for sure. College basketball as a whole, let's dial into the SEC a little bit. Saturday was not a great day for the league. The A&M loss being one of them. Tennessee did not look great in the game at Arizona, and Arizona's really good, but that's a game Tennessee won last year. That's a game the league needed. Alabama lost basically a home game in Birmingham to Gonzaga, which was high scoring. And I think Alabama's great. I think they're the most talented team in the league. That's one that the league really needed because Alabama's going to be the one with the target on their back. Kentucky offensively just looks like they're stuck in the mud. They did not look good against UCLA. You need those that non-conference Saturday, I think will be the impact of that's going to be felt on Selection Sunday, unfortunately, because you need wins like that in those high profile games to get your rankings and ratings and all that stuff established. So then once you get into conference play, you have more opportunities for higher profile wins. And I'm just not talking about quad one wins. I'm talking about high profile where the pollsters notice, the media notices, fans notice. Oh, that's the team that you could have said about Kentucky. Oh, that's a team that beat UCLA, in December. Or, oh, Alabama, that's a team that ran Gonzaga out of the gym in December. Now you can't say those things. And so I think it wasn't a great day for the league as a whole. It's not going to ruin the season, but some missed opportunities out there.
Yeah, A&M at 6-4, they haven't gotten those big wins on the road. They've made their life in the SEC that much more difficult. Look, I'm not expecting you to be a bracketologist, but we just kind of speculate here. 11, 12 wins is the bare minimum if they expect to get into the NCAA tournament.
Well, we started this conversation talking about expectations, right? And I think if you look at A&M's record right now, it's disappointing given the expectations. I mean, this was a team that when I talked to coaches in the preseason, they're all raving about A&M. And they said that's the team that nobody's really talking about. That's the sleeper. That's the one that's projected, middle of the package that could finish in the top 3. Those expectations, I think, while they've been shifted, the reason for them are still there. This is a team that could absolutely go on a tear in league play. I think the bottom half of the league, some of the wins have been inflated. LSU, Missouri, they've got great records. They don't have a great resume. Mississippi State is still kind of an unknown. They've got a great record. They're still undefeated. But they'll really have only one huge quality win. I think they're really good. Don't get me wrong. But those are all games that, A&M's going to go to in league play and say, hey, we have a chance to win this. And then South Carolina and Vandy at the bottom, they have to be must-win games. So the reasons for those expectations, I think, and are still there for A&M. It's just it wasn't a good November for them and early December. But there's still plenty of potential there for that team. And I think they're still an NCAA tournament team, not based on their resume right now, but based on where they're going to be come March when we continue to talk about this team through conference play.
Well, that's a typical Buzz Williams team, right? They get better as the season goes on. They did it last year. I think they were robbed of the tournament appearance. I think they have more talent this year, but they are missing Q Jackson, who was so dynamic for that team. Let's move on to a football topic. It looks like Bryce Young and Will Anderson are going to play in the bowl game. I was kind of I had some picks I had to do on a radio show before that came out. I'm like, I think Bama's going to lose. And now, I don't know, man. Bryce Young and Will Anderson are going to play in the Sugar Bowl?
That's fantastic. Years ago, Alabama ended up in the Sugar Bowl against Kyle Whittingham's Utah team. And Alabama was very much disinterested. And Utah was trying to prove they belong. And that never works out well for the bigger, I would say, of the two programs. I'm curious. I know pay for play is illegal as per NCAA rules. But those are two guys who had some very real investments on the NIL side. Companies invested in them. If you're doing it right, you make it clear to the player, either contractually or just in conversation, hey, when we consider the season, we consider the whole season, right? And that includes the postseason. And we're investing in you, and we're relying on you, and the program is invested in you. I don't know that that's the case, but I wouldn't be surprised. And if I was building NIL and contracts with my players, I would make sure that was a big part of it. I don't know how the coaching staff would feel about that. I think a lot of coaches have said the right thing. Like, we want what's best for our guys. And Nick has always talked about helping them build their brand, both winning at Alabama and getting ready for the next level. That's what helps him on signing day. But it's a great sign for Alabama, and it's a boost that bowl season desperately needed, because let's be honest, it's been kind of going the wrong way in recent years.
I'm actually super surprised by it, Tom, because typically agents get in the way. Like, dude, you're going to hurt your chances. I mean, we saw what happened to Matt Corral last year, and I don't know if it hurt him too bad, but it could have.
No doubt. And I don't know. I guess the question is, if you're that high profile, those guys, let's compare it. It's probably unfair, but let's compare it to great baseball players, right? Tommy John is no longer the type of surgery that costs you rounds in terms of your draft ranking. Like, you might fall from being middle of the first round a little bit further back in the first round, but that's what used to be a major injury is now looked at as, well, we have a chance to invest in a guy who could be a frontline starter. We're delaying his production by a year. Big deal. He's going to be a frontline starter for us for 6 years, and the value of that is X. Patrick Mahomes obviously didn't start his first year in the league. He took a redshirt year, sat behind a good quarterback, learned what the NFL was like, and then took off running. So you don't want anybody to get hurt, but I think that those are two players whose ceilings are so high that I don't even want to say this out loud because I'm knocking on wood as I say it, but their ceilings are so high that, barring a devastating injury, they're still going to realize their financial potential at the next level.
Tom, last thing for you, Max Duggan. What kind of pro do you think he can be?
Oh, man, that's a great question. I just keep going back to Andy Dalton and his time at TCU. Now, Dalton's a bigger dude, but he was kind of the same type of workmanlike, grind it out, make it happen type guy. There's real value in that. I think he can be a first-round pick. I think he can be a guy that is going to take some time. They're not going to hand him the keys immediately, but he's a guy that you'd want in your organization and take a – when I say flyer, that's relative, right? I mean, most quarterbacks you're taking in the top 10 picks because they're going to turn into superstars. I don't know if Duggan is a superstar. I don't think he's Joe Burrow, but I think he's a guy that you can take in the first round and say, get him in the organization. He knows how to win. If we have an established quarterback, even better. And a couple years down the road, he'll be ready to be an NFL guy. So many of those decisions are based on what quarterbacks do in the film room, how they process pre-snap and post-snap, and he seems to have all of those tangibles.
Tom, have a great week, my friend. I don't think we're talking next Monday. I think next Monday you should be celebrating the day after Christmas, so we won't be having a show for you, all right?
All right, well, Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays, whatever you celebrate. It's great being part of this every week, and I hope, especially after signing day, Dalton is going to need a nap. Yep. I hope everybody gets the rest that they deserve.
Appreciate you, bro. Happy Merry Christmas, Happy holidays.
Appreciate it.
Later. Tom Hart there on the hotline. As always, great analysis, and love chatting with him. When we come back here, an open segment, then Billy's going to join us at some point. I know Buzz Williams is going to join us at 9:45, so we'll get into that. Right now, we're talking Fargo's Pit Barbecue. You got to go to Fargo's. Got to try it, all right? I had some barbecue in Central Texas and in the Round Rock area. It was all right. It's not Fargo's. That I can tell you. They are thebomb.com, one of the top 50 barbecue joints in the world. I have to take that sentence back because nobody uses thebomb.com anymore. But they are still one of the top 50 barbecue joints in the world, according to Texas Monthly, because the food, the flavor, all of it, it is so, so good out there. They have these specials that they sell out of very quickly, so you need to reach out to them and pick up those orders. Call them up. Maurice will handle that on the phone. Then when you show up there, Alan or Belinda are going to take care of you at the counter. Take a great look at what they have out there and enjoy it. Now, they are closed on Mondays, so get ready for tomorrow. The rib tips only offered and served on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Once they are gone, they are gone. Wednesday, the chopped beef, and they also have the beef ribs on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So, again, great specials, amazing food. The flavor is phenomenal. You want to check it out. They've been around for about 22 years, and everybody in this community who's tried it is like, yep, that's my go-to spot for barbecue. Go check it out in Bryan, 1701 South Texas Avenue in Bryan. Without a doubt, the best barbecue in town. That's their trademark because it's so darn true. It is Fargo's, 1701 South Texas Avenue in Bryan.
He's gone to L.A. to interview Hugh Jackman, Brad Pitt, and Mark Wahlberg. Now he hangs out with Billy and O.B. It's David Nuño with TexAgs Radio on the Zone. Grab your first cup of coffee weekday mornings with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor right here on 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Plus, online at RadioAggieland.com. WC Tractor, your local award-winning Kubota in New Holland. Do you have questions? Look them up online at WCTractor.com. That's WCTractor.com. You can also call them at 1-888-8-TRACTOR. That's 1-888-8-TRACTOR. Keyshawn, J-Will, and Max. Powered by WC Tractor.
Hi, this is Jeff Vanderwood with VeraBank. VeraBank is continuing to grow in the Brazos Valley with a brand new full-service banking center on Highway 6 in front of Academy. We have a team of genuine bankers specializing in personal and business banking, wealth management, and investor real estate lending ready to serve you. VeraBank is here to help you succeed financially, and you can bank on it.
Visit VeraBank.com today. That's VERA Bank.com. VeraBank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
It's our 12 Deals of Christmas going on right now at your local Big Deal store. Hi, Jenny here, and I've been busy picking out the very best deals for you this holiday season. Each day is a different offer, and we have limited quantities, so run to your computer or smartphone and grab it quick.
Today's big deal is 50% off gift certificates from Horseshoe Junction Family Fun Park. Today only at AggielandBigDeals.com.
WPI needs a service technician to diagnose and repair heavy equipment for their Bryan location. This full-time position comes with a company vehicle, insurance, 401k, paid holidays, paid vacation, and competitive pay if you or someone you know is hardworking, dependable, and looking for full-time employment in the construction equipment repair industry. Apply in person with Jesse James at WPI in Bryan, Highway 21 East at Marino Road. WPI, an equal opportunity employer.
Holiday sparkle starts at Montelongo's Fine Jewelry. The Montelongo's Fine Jewelry family has been helping people select the perfect gift for over 30 years, and they want to be your jeweler this holiday season. Let Montelongo's help you find a dazzling gift from their incredible selection that's in stock and ready to be wrapped. Decide joy. Decide to give. Decide Montelongo's. Bring home a little sparkle with a gift from Montelongo's Fine Jewelry that's sure to make your loved one's Christmas shine. Visit their showroom on University Drive, and Merry Christmas from the Montelongo family to yours.
The College Football Playoff on ESPN Radio. The undefeated and second-ranked Michigan Wolverines go head-to-head with the 12-1 third-ranked TCU Horned Frogs at the Verbo Fiesta Bowl.
Could easily get back and forth. That's going to be a fun matchup just because of the offenses.
You can hear the college football semifinals and national championship game right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
I got a feeling that tonight.
All right, welcome back. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Short segment because Buzz Williams is going to be calling us here in about 4 or 5 minutes. Let's go to Nick Savage behind the glass. Nick?
Hey, yeah, so quick question. So kind of going back to what you and OB were talking about earlier, do you think the recruiting pitch from Jimbo and the staff is like, hey, we were a touchdown short on, 5-6 games, whatever it was this season. Like, you could be that last touchdown. Anthony Hill, you could be that pick six, that gives us the lead, just for example. What exactly do you think the recruiting pitch is coming into the final few days?
Each kid is different, right? You have to know who you're talking to. But I think the bottom line is, why are certain places allowed to get away with 5 and 7 and still recruit at a high level, right? You need to say, look, Texas went through it. Other schools have gone through it. We're better. Right? Come to us. Look what we've done in the last 10 years compared to some of the other places that are recruiting at a high level. So I think each kid is a different story. And yeah, for some, you're the missing ingredient. And for others, it's not it. Billy's with us. We'll get with him and Buzz Williams next on TexAgs Radio. Right now, we are talking about the Association of Former Students, brought to you by the Association of Former Students. Hi, Billy. How are you, sir? And they've been around for about 140 years. They've been helping Aggies all around the world with the oldest, most inspiring tradition, which is Aggies helping other Aggies out there. They love to do that, and they've done it through scholarships, Aggie bands, silver taps, ring day, class reunions, mustard, tailgate, traveling Aggies, etc. That is what the association does, and I encourage you to check out their why. Their why is IamTheWhy.com. It's a website with a collection of stories about Aggies all around the globe and tells you their why, their reason for doing what they do. It is IamTheWhy.com. Again, it's the Association of Former Students.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Best wishes. Best wishes this holiday season. From the Zone family to yours.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. Mosaic Church in College Station invites you to their Christmas Eve service at 5 p.m. All are welcome to the candlelight service with a children's nativity and Christmas carols. Help the Brazos Valley Food Bank bring hope to the table. Go online to bvfb.org. Blood centers throughout the country have experienced a significant drop in donations, which is affecting the nation's blood supply. Visit giveblood.org to schedule your blood donation today. Pride Community Center offers 2 support groups to bring individuals together to address societal pressure, discrimination, and stigma regarding LGBTQ+ identity. For more information on these programs, visit pridecc.org. Listen to your favorite holiday hits on our sister station, Christmas 97.3 FM. Guaranteed to get you humming along. Your favorite holiday hits 24/7 on Christmas 97.3 FM. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
It's our 12 Deals of Christmas going on right now at your local Big Deal store. Hi, Jenny here, and I've been busy picking out the very best deals for you this holiday season. Each day is a different offer, and we have limited quantities, so run to your computer or smartphone and grab it quick.
Today's big deal is 50% off gift certificates from Horseshoe Junction Family Fun Park. Today only at AggielandBigDeals.com.
All over town this Christmas, you'll hear that familiar sound of a bell ringing at participating stores. We call it the sound of hope. Hello, this is Captain Timothy Israel from the Salvation Army of Bryan College Station. When you give at a Red Kettle, you make a real impact on local families and individuals going through a tough time. Your donation now is critical to our mission of delivering help and hope to our community all year long. So when you hear the sound of hope, please give at a Red Kettle and help us love beyond hardship.
Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Max Kellerman.
Guys, are you done with your holiday shopping?
No, I'm starting tomorrow.
You're starting tomorrow because you go to the brick and mortar stores and actually put your hands on
feel
stuff.
It, yeah, I like to walk around. You know, it's kind of crisp outside. I like to walk around and just
Do you get the frappe cappuccino?
You know,
you
pick up, take a look at it, act like I'm a purchaser, put it back. You know, that whole.
Can you definitely, you got the scarf on. What do you get from Starbucks when you walk around the shopping plaza when it's a little chilly outside? What does Key get? The triple venti latte with the side of arugula?
Oh, you go caramel macchiato, skinny, no foam, large.
No, I knew he had an order.
I may have that 4 times a year. So y'all think I'm walking around with the pinky out? No.
The scarf and everything.
Jay, are you done with your holiday shopping?
Well, I bought a lot of my I bought a lot of my stuff online.
Virtual gifts or actual gifts?
Actual.
All right, just want to make sure it's not in the metaverse.
Listen in to Key, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor from 5 to 8 on the Zone.
Trying to get our headphone situation figured out. It's TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's go straight to the hotline. Buzz Williams waiting for us here on the program. Buzz, good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, was that Creedence Clearwater Revival?
CCR, my friend. Oh, yeah.
I might have to. How do I listen to TexAgs? Is this on a radio station or like on the internet?
It's on both, on the radio station and the internet.
I need to figure out how to listen to you guys coming in and out of breaks because whoever the DJ is a lot better than the host.
Well, that's for sure. The DJ is actually at Bryan Broadcasting. He is definitely better than the host. And most of the songs that you're hearing that you would like are probably from Olin's playlist. I doubt you'd like my playlist, Buzz.
The playlist?
He's got like...
I know that I'm older than you, so I would say yes. I would be more familiar with Olin's playlist.
Yeah, he's...
Olin may have been at Woodstock. Olin may have been at Woodstock when CCR was there.
Right. Well, I will say this. I will definitely say this. You wouldn't like my Bad Bunny, my Kanye, not anymore, Drake, all that stuff that I listen to. But I've been listening to the Yellowstone soundtrack, which has been great.
That's great. Good morning.
Good morning, man. So what do you think the biggest issue was this past weekend?
I think the biggest issue is we were not tough enough, competitive enough, didn't have togetherness, the edge, the connectedness that you have to have for 200 minutes to win that sort of game. There's a lot of numbers that you can speak of that are good. We scored 79 points on the road. We made a bunch of free throws. I think the difference is the fight that we had in the first 100 minutes versus the fight we had in the second 100 minutes. And we've got to find a way. The head coach has got to play 200 minutes the way we played the last 100 minutes. there were still a lot of things in the second half that were statistically not great, but there were a lot of things, in my opinion, from a toughness category, from a fight category, that when you look at the stats were markedly different between the first and second halves.
Buzz, sorry, I had some headphone difficulty, so I missed the music talk. So we may have to revisit that.
It was a 90-second delay. My apologies.
No, my headphones. Was he late today? Was he? Is that what he's saying?
No, he was on time. We're just looking for your headphones.
No, sir. I'm just saying we gave away 90 seconds talking about PCR. Which I apologize. I never get to talk about something other than my job. So when I can talk about something besides basketball, I like to partake in the conversation.
When the day comes that you feel like calling in and only talking music, let me know and we'll do a special segment. And we'll just advertise it as such, and they can listen or not listen, and we'll have our fun.
It's kind of like all of those TV shows of which I've never had a chance to watch over the last 15 years, but we kind of do it amongst the staff, play music from 1972 to 1982. Can you name the song? Can you name the artist? Can you name what year? Can you sing the song? It would not be considered a hobby, but it is something that takes my brain to a different place, which is fun.
I think we're going to have to do that at some point. Hey, during the game the other night, my brain was going to a different point in the second half because I sat there and went, this is, like you said, this is the way I was expecting to see this team play. And we've seen it in game here or there. We've seen it in spurts. I wanted to ask you are you watching a team, and I know the win-loss record isn't what you want, when you guys are breaking down film and when you're in practice, how good do you feel right now or not feel about the trajectory in terms of the quality of basketball, competitive basketball you guys are playing? Do you like where that's headed, or are you frustrated with it right now?
Well, in my career as a head coach, this is the worst record I've had in non-conference.
Mm-hmm.
But it is by far distinctly the most difficult schedule that we have played thus far. And, I could rattle off a bunch of numbers that would show the difference in the first half and the second half. But similar to what you said, Lucci, and that's what we did yesterday as a team, I had 3 different categories that I made our players chart. And in essence, I clipped out the game only specific to those 3 categories. And then I told TJ, I want to show these categories from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
And so as I would show a clip, it would apply to one of those 3 categories. And I was making our guys, in essence, keep score Memphis, Texas A&M in those categories.
Okay.
And, it was, when you watch it from start to finish, just like what you said, even if you don't want to pay attention to the numbers or numbers are not your thing, the feel and the spirit, the tenacity, the intensity, the grit, all of those different adjectives, it was completely different in the second half. And like I told them at halftime, we can't wait until we're embarrassed for our lack of fight to prevail. We have to enter with that type of fight. And let's just see if in the second half, let's just see if we can remove the arena, the fans, the opponent. Let's just see if we can be disciplined enough to us. And, man, I thought we were really good. You could argue the best half that we played. There were still some numbers that were bad. We had 12 offensive rebounds in the second half. 12. We had, when we missed a shot in the second half, we rebounded 75% of the time. That's like uber, that's not even a real number.
Yeah.
That's a video game number. And we still had 11 turnovers. We had 11 turnovers. We have to solve that. In the game, 51% of our shots were at the rim. Like, we shot the ball when our foot, was at least a foot, was in the charge circle. We shot 43%. It's hard math when you only make 43% of those shots at the rim. But the flip side of that is, and you can pick a lot of different numbers, we have to be way better defensively. We made a bunch of free throws. We did a lot of good things, and there's still some numbers that we have to calm down and make better. But the prevailing feeling as I left, and even right now as I talk to you, how can we make sure that the priority, regardless of locale and regardless of opponent, is how can we, all of us, fight and pull and scrap in the same direction. And then let's see if we can do that from start to finish, and let's see where that leads. You know, just like Oregon State, I don't think we were terrible in the first half, but I thought we were incredible in the second half. We were not good in the first half against Memphis, and we were incredible in the second half. Okay, let's change what we do in practice. We've been doing that. Let's change some other things. Like, we've got to continue to be willing to modify and adjust, but only for the purpose of we want this to all go towards whoever you are searching for a group of 5 that give your absolute best. And we don't have enough margin to just give away minutes trying to find who's going to play really hard.
Yeah.
And maybe that shorten the rotation. Like, I don't know, but that's what we got to get to.
Buzz, we're going to hit a break here. My friend, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Good luck tomorrow against Wofford, and we'll talk to you here very soon.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, guys. Merry
All right,
Christmas.
Buzz, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Merry
Bye-bye.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Buzz Williams there on the hotline. Much better second half in that one, Billy. It was
well, I you know what I think, Nuño? I want to see what he just said. I want to see them play 2 halves like that. You want to see it the next few games, but when they get into SEC play, like right off the rip, first couple of games, give 4 halves like that and see where it ends up. And they might be 1-1, they might be 2-0, but I think once they see it in practice, so many new faces, then it can start to go from there, but they got to get to that point.
We know that Buzz teams get better as the year goes on. It's a backloaded schedule for A&M basketball. Win these first couple of games that are, I don't want to say gimmies, but more manageable games in SEC play. Finish strong. Now we're talking the way they played that game against Memphis. I know they didn't make the plays in the last 3 minutes, but they battled back, and they were certainly somebody to mess with there with about, 3 minutes left. They took the lead.
There's got to be just something to build on. And again, I think one strong game against a conference team, and hopefully it's right there at the beginning, and this team can see, okay, this is what it takes week in and week out. And I think if they can get that, they can turn a corner.
When we come back, the latest with recruiting, we'll get into some other A&M football things, and get to your text messages and phone calls. It is TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
This is Daryl from Columbus, previously from the Paul Feinbaum Show.
I'm really looking forward to chatting again with Joe Anderson.
I'm having a great time. I'm excited about TCU, making it to the semifinal. Nobody thought this was going to happen. I would be hard-pressed to even believe that Sonny Dykes would have believed it. It's a good time. Good time to be a TCU alum, for sure.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, powered by Polaris Fun Center, 2 to 4 weekdays on The Zone.